The other thing is your manufacturing source. Is that in the United States?
Yes.
Humor me again, please, and put that one up there, the financials. I still think there's a hiccup there.
Which like mine.
Now, if you go all the way to the right on the cumulative, 3,678 plus 364.
Yeah.
All the other ones add up. That's not, there's something wrong there.
It's cumulative.
This is
Over
cumulative.
5 years.
This is the sum of this, and that. And, well,
And
plus
so
this,
the other column, so when you
this
add,
and that.
No.
It's all right. It's
okay.
3,491 plus
Plus
3,678 plus
Yes.
364.
Yeah, exactly.
okay, sorry.
You don't have to take that with Bill Gates and Excel.
All right. Go-to-market strategy. You told us what you're going to do to create awareness and to attract the customer. How much are you going to spend per customer, per acquired customer, versus the revenue that customer generates for you?
It's a little bit different model, I think, than maybe a per customer because the industry is sort of slow to adopt, and so you get certain customers that'll take off and that'll start using the product and start using it, and then that sort of trickles down into the rest of the customer base. And so to say that there's a certain amount of marketing dollars, a certain number of impressions or whatever that drive a customer to buy is not entirely valid. It works out to be around 10% of the, as far as selling costs across the board. And that's, again, trying to drive those. Our customers are a little bit gun shy about new products. And irrigation is not a highly innovative business. And so it's really about getting those water suppliers on board with rebates that are helping to drive people to go, hey, I should look at this. The rebates is something I can offer my customers. Again, it's really about building that confidence and goodwill in the industry.
So, let me rephrase, how much does it cost you to get the contractor in line and then gets the end customer?
Well, like I said, the sales, our sales costs are around 10% of revenue, and we also are, part of the strategic partnerships that we have is to offset some of those costs in marketing.
I think I have a question.
So Jeff, you talked quite a bit about Underhill and Ewing stores and how they were an important part of your go-to-market strategy. Do you have numbers that show what happens if one of those fails or just decides that they don't want to carry your product after all?
Do I have numbers? No, but there's plenty of other fish in the sea. Those are unique channels because they're both sort of family-run businesses that have a personal relationship that's going to help push that forward. So, for instance, Ewing is the second largest, just shy of 200 stores. John Deere Landscapes is sort of more than twice as big, 500 stores. But they're not a business like that, so it's a different play than John Deere, for instance. So there's other channels.
So I'm trying to stick to the David's advocate. So we are talking to a homeowner association community guys who are huge areas. And we are assuming that originally these guys didn't do their homework in doing the right zoning, the grass versus flowers and all of those things. And we are saying that, okay, rather than just changing the heads for low flow heads, come and use ours and reprogram, do all of those things. One more time, how did you justify that changing the heads on some of those sprinklers to get low flow heads will cost more than buying yours?
It doesn't cost more, it just doesn't work. There's two things that are at play here. One is that 90% of our customers are poorly educated. That's why so many of these zones are screwed up. They aren't all that technically savvy. And so this is something they understand. This is a very simple solution. Once you split the zone, now it's as if I got two zones. I know how to program zones. When you ask these guys, okay, can you go in and can you mix spray heads to achieve the same thing? Theoretically, the answer is yes. In practice, the answer is no. And that's been borne out or verified to us through our contractor consultations. Is that it doesn't work because you're trying to balance things like pressure and flow and runtime all at the same time, and they don't really know how to calculate that in the first place. And to do
Okay,
that.
so economically, you cannot justify it, but you are just resting on the fact that it's easier for them to use these.
Well, the economics are about the same, right? I mean, we're talking about you could go and change spray heads out in those other valves or those other heads, or you could put this in for about the same cost, where changing out the spray heads is a fixed solution that may or may not actually work, where this is guaranteed to work.
But is it more expensive than the other?
It's about the same to change the spray head or do this.
And this 5-year warranty that you are putting on it, is it actually you calculated MTBF, mean time between failures, you actually run accelerated life tests or all of those things?
I have run these valves for the equivalent of about 30 years. There are no wear elements inside.
And
It's really the fundamental, the life of the valve will be determined by what's attacking this rubber part in the water.
and they're accelerated things like higher pressure, temperature, banging,
There's more of that to be done, but yes.
So on your business model, it looks like your plan is to be a standalone company for the years to come, right? Is there any thoughts given to an earlier exit, to be acquired by one of the 3 large players in the market?
Well, we've talked to those players and had actually advanced meetings and talking about licensing. Their business model really is to focus on their core product line, do evolutionary products, and then acquire things like this once they've shown significant traction in the marketplace. You probably know that from your time at Rainbird. So once there's good market traction, then they'll be interested. It's just a matter of showing that traction. And they've said so. I mean, directly. That's the discussion we've had.
So I'm a angel investor, and I'm going to offer you, $800,000 investment for $1 million pre-money value. So I take about 48%. Is that acceptable?
No.
What is?
We talk. Huh?
Let's go.
We're talking about?
Starting more around 15%. The company sale is a cash out around $45 million. So we're basing that rate of return on a percentage of that cash out. Plus, there's around that financial slide, there's actually dividends shown that are helping along the way to improve that ROI.
Are you anticipating further equity investment requirements?
No, this is a launch all the way to profitability.
Why don't you want to move the manufacturing to Asia and reduce the cost?
Because it won't. For 2 reasons. One, because I've actually already done some of that. It was not as fun as it sounds. But the other reason is because in order to make this valve, there's a lot of small parts in here, and it's very intricate. To make this valve with the quality that we need, it needs to be automated manufacturing. You can't have it hand-built or it'll be messed up. And so once you get that degree of automation, it's the difference in running over there, swinging over here by the time you ship materials over and back, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. When you get to the tens of millions, then, and the process is completely flushed out, and you want to just go and duplicate automation in another market or another Asia or another, yes, you can do that. But to get to that point, it's not worth it.
So if you said you manufacture in the United States, is this previously manufactured by?
So I had a partnership agreement with a local company that had a manufacturing partner in China, and the parts were molded in China. They were intended to be assembled there, but they backed out of the deal. So I ended up bringing all it back here, all the tooling back here, and all of the assembly back here, finishing it here. So yes, that card says made in China, and the parts were the molded parts were made in China, but all the assembly was finished here, and then the molds are back over here. That's why I say it wasn't that fun.
Any further questions? Thank you very much. Thanks, Jeff, for taking the questions, and thank you for going down and covering a lot of key elements here. One of the critical aspects here is giving Jeff feedback to have improvements in the deck, in the slides, in its content, or in the delivery of the message. So do consider that when giving feedback. And I'm going to start at the front, give Rupert the first chance to refresh.
All right, very good presentation. My compliments. All of the mentoring team did an excellent job. One of the best elevator pitches that I've heard. Actually, maybe what we should do is record that and put it on the website. Having said that, I think you worked a bit long, 19 minutes or so. One of the tricks of doing this is to, go over the highlights, hit that in a total of 15, 16, maybe 17 minutes on the outside, and then when you go into the Q&A, bring up your slides and drill down into the details so you can cut some of the time out. I think you verbalized when I asked what your key competitive differentiation is. The fact that nobody can do what you do in that kind of form factor, which is essential to retrofit valves, is key. So I would create a slide that says that, and on that slide also mention the patents that you filed for their key claims. And then when you talk about the patents, mention what the key claims are so that everybody's aware that you know and clearly understands why it's so difficult to circumvent this. On the valuation question, let's talk is not the right word. I think what you need to do, rather than getting hooked on some kind of number, go and tell them what the basis is for your accomplishments. You've got patents, you've got a team, you've got 2 critical relationships tied up, you've got government support, you've got got a great beta test already. Show them the milestones that you already achieved, and then if you can find anywhere a equivalent valuation deal that you know about, mention that, okay? And then say, let's sit down and talk what that means to you in terms of potential payout. I sort of have a metrics when I evaluate deals, which says, what's the team like, and you certainly get an A for that. And a significant market, I like that. The technology is low tech, relatively speaking, but it's a high volume opportunity. So I think that's a very positive. The differentiation, if you explain why that is key, I think you have a very well protected technology, and you've got a very efficient business model, so it's a good deal. So I think you can move forward.
Yes, I concur with Rupert that the presentation was very good confidence you had in talking, and you could capture the audience very